Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 169. It's another good Sunday morning here, and we have a good show today. We've got a PlayStation showcase finally we get to talk about and speculate on. We've got some Halo Infinite news. We've got Far Cry 6, Alan Wake returning. It's going to be a good week, guys. So, as always, my partner in crime, Mr. Dan Rodriguez, waking up bright and early for the show. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, what time is it? 10?
It's not that early, really.
Yeah, it's really not. Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited.
Right. You got the God of War shirt on, ready to talk?
That's right, buddy.
I get it.
Ready to go.
Mr. Tie Guy Travis, actually early for this one, but he's looking fresh, looking sharp. How you doing, brother?
Thank you. I brought my hot takes and my energy this morning, so get ready for that.
It sounds like it.
I can feel it.
And joining us for the first time, senior editor over at our friends at Xbox Era. You know him as OneBadMutha, Mr. Abe himself. What's happening, man?
I am great. Thanks for having me on the show, Mr. Ames. It's great to get the chance to talk to you guys live on show. Listen to you, for a little while, and I do like the mature conversation, that you guys bring to gaming.
Sometimes.
I say that with some seriousness and a little bit of facetiousness as Mr. Travis over here is making faces.
Thank you, sir. Well, it's good to have you on. I know we've talked offline quite a bit, so it was nice to finally get a time to get you on the show. So, good morning, everyone. Chat, good to see you. If you're catching us later, of course, happy morning, afternoon, evening to you as well. Dan, you want to hit the super chat right out of the gate?
Yeah, man. It's crazy. We didn't even start the show. We were actually talking about this as he typed it up. It was crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Fat Boy Horror, £5 super chat. Thank you very much, man. If Ames was playing Boyfriend Dungeon, where was Dan's stream? I'm working my way there. I'm trying to.
People want to know, Dan.
It's going to be something. I'm probably going to have to do it like during the day. That's the thing. It's going to have to be one of those daytime streams that everybody tunes into. I don't even know, because that's when everybody's gone, and I can. You can
do it. You can do it. It'll draw a big enough crowd.
Well, you don't want to play Boyfriend Dungeon in front of the kids.
Well, I want to retain any kind of authority that I have, and gaming, stature with my kids. So, we'll see what happens. They make fun of me already, so it doesn't really matter. Then they play is like Apex and Fortnite and that kind of stuff. So, they don't even branch out.
Surprising news of the show so far. Dan's kids make fun of him.
Yeah. It's constant.
Joining us for breaking news here at 10 a.m.
That's right. Yeah. That's what we do.
Thank you, Fat Boy. Always appreciate it, man. Good morning. Pong, Elu in the house, G-Man. G-Man says Travis is really quiet. I don't know if that's the same. You sound fine to me. So
I turned up my gain, so hopefully.
Okay, hopefully it's good now. It's dark in the house. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's gonna be an exciting week. I think we've been waiting on PlayStation for a while. They've been quiet for months now, and I think this is going to be a big week. But before we get to kind of our speculation there and what we're hearing, what we think we're going to see, why don't we talk about what we're actually playing right now? So, Abe, man, you been playing anything good? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, and I think you might appreciate this, seeing some of your tweets.
Let's go.
Number one on the list right now is Psychonauts 2. That's absorbing the majority of my time.
Yes.
I was just telling a buddy yesterday, because a lot of times you play these games that sort of make you stop and go, "Whoa, I need more of this kind of thing in my my life." That's usually when I consider something to be great. And Psychonauts on paper doesn't sound like the type of thing that I would normally be into, but it is so good in terms of the writing, the characters. Like every level seems to be its own character, and it really does stand out. And I'm saying right now, it's trending towards probably one of the best games I played. Obviously, this generation's early, but even going back to next generation, it's really one of the best games I played in a while. So that's the majority of it. I did finally get a PS5 digital, thanks to Gaming Forte, for everybody who knows him.
Nice,
He he lives about 15, 20 minutes away from me and he works at a GameStop close by, and had a situation where some kid got in trouble with their parent, and their parent brought in their digital. He called me up.
Wow.
He's like, I got one. So I got Demon Souls going on that as well, but that's going to probably be next up after Psychonauts.
A lot of big wins this morning. Yeah,
amazing.
Psychonauts 2 and Demon Souls. We're hitting all the right notes. Love it. That's funny though. Good on Forte, man. Definitely, he's been on the show. Good friend of ours over here. So good on him for hooking you up. That's cool.
Yeah, it was
cool. So, Boyfriend Dungeon. Dan, how far into it are you?
I haven't downloaded it. I'm just trying like this. Yeah, this week has been a very non-gaming week. I've literally played 10 minutes, and that was Hitman 3, and that was just I literally just put it on. I turned it on, and I was like, "Oh, hey, there's a new whatever." And now it's challenges. Like, so but I didn't play it. I just kind of looked at it for like 10 minutes, and I went, "Man, I'm going to put YouTube back on. There's probably something on there that I need to watch." That wasn't even gaming related.
Man.
Well, every once in a while you kind of go through like a gaming funk, and you get that. I think that's what I'm in right now. I think maybe I'm hoping Deathloop, Kena or however you say it for sure will probably knock me out of there. I'll probably be playing that one. But we got a lot coming down the pipe here, especially in October. It's insane, but it'll get better. I'm just kind of been relaxing this week, and it's been awesome. So
hey, nothing wrong with that.
All right,
Travis, what you been up to, man? You back on that Destiny grind?
Oh yeah, dude. I pulled a reverse Dan this week. Played a ton of video games, all sorts, and I loved many of them, which is also very counter to his culture. I'm on that Destiny grind. I played a ton of Destiny this week. I have also been playing through the entire Gears of War saga again. I'm now more than halfway through Gears 2, and showing my girlfriend those for the first time, and she's like hooked. She loves chainsawing people. She's like very into it. So
you playing co-op with her?
Yeah, split screen, the whole saga. So getting through that.
Sounds like a great girl.
She's the best. She's the best.
Yeah.
Doing that. I've been playing Forza 4. Watching all the Forza 5 footage last week made me want to jump back into 4. So I'm playing all the DLCs the expansions that I didn't get around to before. Still doing Hades. I've just been. I also did a preview this week for World War Z. They have a new expansion coming out, I think later this month, and I got to play it with some of the developers, and you can find my article live next week on IGN.com. So
there you go.
Just doing that sort of stuff. And then also I did my review of Maneater Truth Quest. So I've been playing a little bit of that Maneater Shark game this week. So
Maneater Shark game.
Shark PG as they call it in the biz. So I've been playing a lot of games, man. A ton.
I was gonna say you're all over the place. That's awesome, though.
I know. I have had no time for Psychonauts 2 though, which I really, really want to play.
You know what's funny about it? It's better than every game you just mentioned.
Probably. Well, Gears. I mean,
that's true. Gears is tough. Gears is tough.
But. Yeah, and obviously, Destiny is the greatest game that's ever been created because I have to say that legally. I owe my entire career.
Legally bound. It's on your resume.
So. I really want to play it, but I need to play through Psychonauts 1 again, man, because I haven't played Psychonauts 1 since I was in like the 6th grade or something like that. So I need to replay it before I play 2. I just want to.
Yeah, I think so. I 100%ed Psychonauts 2 this week, and I think I am going to go back and play 1 if I get the time. I'd like to, because it's been a very long time since I've done that as well, and it's so good.
I hear there's a ton of references in 2 that are way better if you just played 1 as well. So
there's quite a few. Yeah, quite a few. And his family's in 2, which is cool because you only kind of hear about that in the first one. The family comes from. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So Sarko says a ton of Iron Banner this week. I think my stepson was
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
I played a lot of that. Yeah, I'm fully caught up on all my Destiny stuff. The fact that I was able to do that. So Destiny's in this weird spot where they've sort of time gated everything so I can keep up with Destiny and also play a bunch of other games because every week I sort of max out what I can do and then it's like, all right, cool. I can do other stuff now if I want to. So
I know I told you like I re-downloaded Destiny, logged in, haven't logged in months. It put me in some mission. I had no idea what I was doing or why. finish it, get my artifact, which I guess is for the season, right? Which I didn't know because it doesn't tell you. And then I had about 18 notifications of places I was supposed to go to talk to people who tell me stuff that I have no idea what it means. And then I go to the ship person, and I had, this is not a joke, I had 47 items to pick up from the ship person because of Prime Gaming Awards. And I don't even know how I can hold them all or what I do with them. So it's it's kind of a mess. It's a mess.
Don't play Destiny. That's my advice. It's always been my.
I'm so afraid of Destiny. I probably give it like 20 hours, and I just know I've seen it's like, you know, when you see friends go through things and you're like, you know, I just see like it just sucks that it's like becomes like a secondary job, you know, like they don't play anything else. It's you know,
for some of us it's our primary job.
Yeah, it becomes your primary job. Like I got kids, I got, you know, so I'm afraid to get stuck into whatever that is that you're in right now, Travis.
Yep.
So
escape while you can. Please, that's my advice.
Go the other direction.
Yep.
I'm not denying it does feel like it feels good, but I didn't totally get the whole how to after a while I couldn't figure out how to level up, and I'm like, I should probably get out now.
We're all still figuring it out, to be honest. I have 5,000 hours in Destiny, no idea how to level up.
He's like, I don't even know what's happening. I don't
I have spreadsheets. I'm trying to put it together, but
yeah, it's it can be intimidating for sure. So like, I'm like, do I really want to get into this? So I put it back down because I was like, there's too many games coming up, especially that I have to review, that like I just don't have time, right? It would take me too long to figure out what I'm supposed to do and to get back into it. Like,
just play for Witch Queen if you really want to stay in the conversation. Just wait for Witch Queen and play it then.
I'll wait till like January, you know, before Elden Ring, of course, and like you and Sark and a couple others can just kind of, you know, help me through. But good to see some new faces in the chat. Way Hicks, what's going on, guys? GMD Geek, so good to see you. So yes, I'll admit it. I played Boyfriend Dungeon.
Nice.
Downloaded it. It sat there for a bit, and I was like, all right, let me try this damn thing. So, yeah, that's a game. It's a game. It's interesting. I'm not far.
Instilling any confidence.
I'm not far. I did a couple of the, you know, I did the intro, obviously, where it introduced you to the concept, and went to the nightclub. And then I went back to the mall, and I went and talked to the sword guy, you know, who prefers real swords, not male swords. And and I guess all that's the introductory stuff. So I'm still kind of early, but it's definitely an interesting game.
You haven't met your first boyfriend. Have you seen your first transformation?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yes, I have done that. So I don't know.
Did it awaken anything in you? Any dormant feelings?
I think it tried to in the game, but I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Well, teach their own, but I certainly felt some things. I'm a changed man.
I tried to hit on the nightclub owner or whatever, the girl, and she just wasn't having it. So
there is a girl in that game that is romanceable. So if you want to stay on the straight and narrow, which obviously that's the wrong way to play the game, but you know, you can do that. There's also a cat. Just go. You can embrace your full loner and just choose to romance the cat if you want.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing anymore. I don't know what we're doing.
Me neither. I
want to. I
know too much about dating sims. This is the life I live.
Yeah, so we'll see if I continue with it. I don't know. There's a lot of.
Sorry for jinxing the show, by the way, Ames.
It's been 0 days since we talked about dating sims on this.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. We haven't. It's been 4 weeks running, I think. So. But anyway, it's funny if nothing else, and I've gotten a laugh out of it due to the obvious conversations. So other than that, man, I've been
like Game Pass, man. You can just check out like a game you would normally never play, and I that's kind of how I played those dating sims too. Is I just saw them on I was like, you know what, genre I've never dove into, let's just give it a try. So that's cool, right? Even if you only get like 20 minutes out of enjoyment out of it, makes you laugh a few times, it's worth it.
Yeah, so. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. So I never would have actually played it if it weren't for Game Pass, which is cool. Yeah. So other than that, man, Psychonauts 2 left a kind of hole in my heart after I finished it. I'm waiting on Deathloop, which is next week, and we'll be talking about a lot coming up, I hope. Hope obviously it's really good. Previews look to be excellent.
Yeah,
but I'm back on that Rocket League kick.
Ooh.
Yeah, me and Pompa in the chat and a couple other guys. We play Rocket League on and off, Elu as well. And just been playing the hell out of it. I played it again for like 4 or 5 hours last night. So it's a lot of fun with friends. You know what I mean?
It's a great game. Yeah.
Yeah. So hit Diamond for the first time. Never got Diamond before. Quickly lost it, but actually hit Diamond. Yeah, we play ranked. Cool. We play ranked. We're not terrible. Pompa and Elu are better than me, but I'm there. So I play, I dabble.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, so nothing too crazy. I think we're going to be talking a little bit later about all the releases coming up in the next several weeks because it's ridiculous. Honestly, September kind of kicks off that, the whole fall where all hell breaks loose. So we'll touch more on that later. But before we get to that, and let's go ahead and talk about PlayStation, guys, because PlayStation, we went through the whole summer. We kind of wondered, okay, are they going to do their own show during E3 time? Yeah, they got to, right? They haven't talked about anything in a while. Nothing. Then we get through July, nothing. Rumored show in July from the PlayStation insiders, nothing. We get to August, it's like Gamescom is here. Maybe they'll do something on the side with Gamescom. Nothing. The only thing they had was Horizon's delay, of course. Finally, we get to September and we've got a show. So an actual PlayStation showcase, not just a state of play. They said this is going to be purely focused on PS5 into the future. So looking into games into next year as well. This is this upcoming Thursday, as you're listening to this, on the 9th at 1 p.m. Pacific. So kind of in the mid-afternoon, which I hate, by the way, but I guess they have to do it for the European audience, of course. But this, guys, I don't know about you. I was going to talk about our kind of overall expectations for this show. Personally, I think this is going to be a big one. I think based on kind of some of the rumblings we're seeing from people that are trustworthy, right, in the industry, they're saying be prepared because this is, this is going to be a very impressive show. And I think it has to be, right, because I think they've been quiet. They haven't had the best press lately, despite PlayStation doing extremely well. Like every PS5 sells out, game sales. I mean, they're doing what they always do. But in terms of just image and stuff, it hasn't been great. They don't have a big first-party release this fall. Horizon got delayed. They have, God of War obviously got pushed. So I think they have to come here before kind of this fall rush of all these games from Xbox and obviously all the other third parties, and basically say, look, here's why you own your PlayStation 5. And I think it's going to be that showcase that we've all been waiting for. That's what I think overall. Where are you guys at on this?
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, who knows what Sony's up to? This is sort of their move, right? They keep us all waiting in anticipation, and especially without their E3, which used to be their big reveal. It's sort of been like a question of what's going on with them and what are they planning. I actually don't really have any predictions for what we'll get out of this. I mean, I'm sure we'll get some sequels to highly anticipated games, maybe something in Uncharted or maybe some new IPs or something announced. But the Order 1996, guys running around with fanny packs.
1996?
Yeah, we're going fully
fanny packs.
10 years in the future. Yeah. They're all going to be like listening to Backstreet Boys.
I was going to say they were in MC Hammer pants and hunting vampires out of Lost Boys. Is that what we're doing?
That's right. That's right. That's where we're going. I really don't know what they'll announce, because I was thinking about. I mean, we know which studios haven't released things in a while, but yeah, I don't really have any predictions, which is kind of awesome because it means everything will be a surprise, at least to guys like me who haven't been close enough to it. But yeah, I mean, Sony or PlayStation usually has something up their sleeve when they're quiet, so I'm sure we'll get some announces. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah. What do you think, Abe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably in line with you, Ains, in terms of expectations for the show. I guess one of the things I'll be interested in, I go into this, as curious as anything, just because, there has been a lot of rumors from PlayStation insiders and, for the last couple of years about this remakes in works or this game's in the works. And I think that if any of these rumors have been true that we've heard for the last few years, whether it's Silent Hill or Metal Gear Solid remakes or, SOCOM coming back, that kind of thing, you would expect at least one of those types of games to make it in addition to God of War. I think God of War is probably what everybody's expecting at this point. I think it'd be a bigger surprise if that doesn't show up with some sort of gameplay demo. But, one of the things that they've always been really good at, if you look at them historically, and I know they have different leadership now, but historically they've been good at reading the room and knowing when it is time to drop a roadmap or when it's time to drop, fan service. At one point last generation, we got the E3 of Dreams, which we didn't see a lot of those games for a few years, right? But you had the Horizon, which was coming up soon. Everything else was kind of, you waited a while for it, and it feels like it's about that time to give the base a roadmap, especially when they do that. Again, if this leadership can kind of read into the past, they know that it usually gives them enough equity, energy, whatever, to kind of get through dry periods. If you remember the last generation, they went through some early dry periods. We just got a situation this fall, but at least they had some games early in the year. But we had some periods last generation where it was drier than that. But they dropped that roadmap, and everybody's like, okay, I'll wait for that stuff. And I think they are very good at being able to kind of settle the base, get them excited again, even when they're not ready necessarily to bring things out. So yeah, I guess I don't know if we're doing predictions now, but prediction wise, I think God of War is easy. But I would think that if Bluepoint, if any of these insiders ever knew anything, this is where you'd see a Metal Gear Solid remake or a Silent Hill come back, right? Something like that, along with the SOCOM. So those are kind of the things I'd be looking for.
Gotcha. Dan, we got quite a few comments to touch on, but let's hear you first.
I have no idea what to expect from these guys. I mean, it's
that's
I guess that's good. So I'm hoping for some new IPs. Sony is the king of doing those, solid, story-driven, large, maybe open world, semi-open world maps, kind of those kind of games. Like the player experience, which is kind of what I've drifted to lately, as opposed to any kind of multiplayer stuff. Now, to completely ignore that space would be stupid. So I'm guessing there's going to be a few games. I don't want Alien or Predator hunting grounds. You know what I mean? That's what we don't need. We need something that, like Factions or something that's going to draw in that multiplayer crowd. And that's what Sony's always lacked. So I think we need to see something like that out of them, regardless if I'll play it or not. But I want to see, you've got to basically diversify, what you're putting out there. So that's key. And you can see it. I mean, Game Pass, with Xbox is, that's what that is. It's basically a whole bunch of, whatever you want. So yeah, we'll see God of War. I would love to see a new Uncharted or, a new Infamous or whatever, just something. Maybe Killzone, maybe even go back to like a Twisted Metal kind of thing. I could probably get into that a little bit, just,
that'd be cool.
Like Silent Hill, Metal Gear. I love Metal Gear games. So it's one of those things where it's just like, just show me some stuff as opposed to not, just coming out and giving me some kind of, little garbage here and there that, either people forget about, which is what has been happening recently, I think, with their state of plays, aside from like the ones that are focused on, obviously, like Horizon or whatever. But I just want some good, solid information, see what's coming in the future. What are they going to do as far as, are they going to keep them on the PlayStation 4? It sounds like they have to almost, like some of these games. How far out do they go with that, though? I read something today where they said that the chip shortage is going to go probably on for another year. So, we're going to be, they're going to be struggling to even get units into people's hands, so I'm curious to see what direction they go. And if they're going to, if it's solely PS5 stuff, which if God of War is there, we know it's not, because it's coming to PS4 as well. So I don't know, man. Well, yeah, I hope it's not like stuff that's 3 years out, That's what I don't want to see. I want to see stuff that's either coming out next year or basically next year. That's what I want to see. I want stuff that I can go, oh yeah, I just have to wait a little bit longer for this, instead of going, oh, this will be nice in 2025.
Yeah, not an Elder Scrolls 6 teaser.
MO. No, it's not Sony's MO to show games that are coming out the next year. Usually, you see them, you see like a small trailer that's not gameplay, and then you see them at the next 3 E3s before they come out.
Totally agree.
But it gets their fan base hyped.
It does. Oh,
it works. I mean, and that's the one thing. Remember, we said when I say we, I obviously it wasn't me with you guys, but the community, on the Xbox side was saying that for years. Just give us a roadmap, right? Because it works. We get what you're saying, and we knew they didn't have a lot of the pipeline. But the fact is when you give people that roadmap, they see the commitment. They see that at some point this investment is going to pay off with these giant games, and they haven't done that yet, really. I mean, so far they've given us mostly. I feel like up to 2022 has already been covered by Sony, and they haven't really gone beyond that. And I don't really know that there's going to be a bunch of. I doubt there's going to be some games that are hidden that are like, oh, here's this blockbuster coming out in 2022, unless it's a remake or something like that. So I feel like you're going to get 2023 something in there, 2024, maybe 2025. When they show Final Fantasy remake, that was a long ways off, and. It just makes sense that it's that time. But to Dan's point, he makes a good point, because you talk about them diversifying, and it seems like they've been kind of positioning with some of the hires they've been making, and even some of the second party deals they've been making, that they are kind of positioning to diversify this generation. And I feel like now is a good time to kind of speak towards that, right? Like to tell the customers out there that even though this stuff maybe isn't ready right now, for example, if you have a SOCOM in your back pocket, or you have some ex-Bungie developers making a multiplayer game, second party or something like that, now's the time you want to at least let people know that's coming. Although it would be nice for me personally, it'd be nice to know that there's a controller that will work good with first-person shooters coming as well, because that's always my struggle. As good as the controller is a nice upgrade, by the way, but it is, it's not necessarily made for those types of games. So that's going off a different tangent. But they are trying to diversify, and I think that. If you got stuff in your back pocket now like that, or even if it's a Miyazaki, hey, he's going to make another game with us, maybe you drop those teasers, even though they aren't going to pay off right now. But that there's rabid fans out there, and you want, and their base is very good at helping them with the narrative. So why not use it now, right? Start ramping it up. And even if you don't have stock, maybe Xbox does. So, you still want to try to control, those narratives even through this holiday. So because you never know what, the other side's building up mind share as well. And I think they're aware of that. I think like this generation, last generation, I think they could be pickier about like, hey, we'll wait until we got all our ducks in a row, or, because they had such a handle on it. This generation, I feel like most people understand that there's competition, not just from Microsoft, but really just from the whole industry in general is kind of changing. And I think, you really don't want to lose control of the mind share and the fact people are talking about your stuff all the time. So I don't think they're going to wait a year, as much as they may not have stock this year, but it still is a situation where they are. I think it's fan service time, and it's roadmap time.
Yeah, completely agree. And just so let me get to some of these questions, because we got a few here. So GMD, I honestly, if someone knows what he's referring to here, let me know, but I don't know what he means by this. So PS5 question for y'all regarding new information or lack. I've seen Horizon Forbidden West getting locked behind new PS5. Love to. I don't know what that means.
No, I think maybe he saw something that said it was, but it's not. It's PS4, PS5 game.
Oh, yeah. It's both. So if that's what you meant, it absolutely is both.
Free between those two versions.
Yeah, which we'll touch on that in a second. Let's not tangent on that. Big Nash, another new viewer, says thoughts on and this is probably referring to Sean Layden's comments. I don't know if you saw those out of Bloomberg. I know Tracy Schreier talked to him, but basically saying that, games are just ballooning in terms of the production cost to make these games. In the PS4 era, he said, they were upwards of 100 million plus to make the big ones like Horizon, like God of War, etc. And now he expects the big ones this gen to be even more, around 200 million. I think that's a very broad topic. There's a lot of nuances and kind of aspects to that conversation. So one thing I would say is people, were kind of questioning him on that. And it's like, Sean Layden, guys, he knows what he's talking about. Okay.
Probably not the guy I'm going to question.
Trust me, he has more experience in this realm than you do. I don't care who is questioning him. He has more experience. So, but I think that's a big topic we could probably cover maybe as a main topic in an upcoming show, because I think if we dive into that now, that's a 20-30 minute conversation we could spend.
I mean, my question is, why does that matter? Video games are also ballooning in how much money they make. So
exactly. Well, that's one aspect, right?
Yeah. And then there's so many things to say right now, but
there's a million things.
I'm holding back because I don't want to. It is a long main topic.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole. So stay with us. We'll touch on that because I would like to actually talk about that more soon. So GMD says enough of the remakes, wants to see games that are pushing, kind of AAA on these new consoles, which is fair. And Dano in the house, what's up, Dano? He said, guess they tease factions, right? The Last of Us multiplayer, which I know one of you just mentioned as well, which I think is a good segue into that multiplayer component that Dan and Abe were talking about.
Last of Us is multiplayer?
Say it again. Oh, I didn't even hear what you said. Yeah.
So it has multiplayer.
Yeah. I think we touched on that before, but the actual kind of rumblings we've seen here is Infamous making a return, which did nothing for me. I'm not an Infamous fan, but I know it's a pretty kind of it's a pretty broad PlayStation IP, right? I mean, it's well known. I know there is a group out there that really enjoys it, so that could be cool. God of War, I think, as we all said, right? It's expected. I think it would be a bigger surprise if it's not there. What else? New Uncharted. We have heard. I think it was Abe mentioned. If they actually have secured Miyazaki to work on another exclusive IP for PS5, that would be huge. Because I mean,
like Bloodborne 2 or.
Bloodborne 2 or new IP, right? In that vein, in the Miyazaki vein. So, I mean, since Bloodborne was released 6 years ago, the love for Soulsborne games has only increased, right? And Bloodborne is now a legendary game. You know what I mean? It's just held it.
Good Souls game.
So don't you start.
It is the least good one. I'm sorry, it is. It is.
No, come on. Yep. It's not Dark Souls 3. It's not Dark Souls 3. But
it's not Dark Souls 2.
Oh, it's better than Dark Souls 2.
I think it's the worst one.
I don't even play those games, and I know you're talking crazy.
Crazy good one. You know what I love about my RPGs? When they take out all the RPG elements and make me play single class. That's my favorite part of RPG.
I'm actually half with you on that. That's why it's not as good as Dark Souls 3. But from a
it's
game
also the easiest Souls game and can be beaten in an afternoon. So that's all I'll say. I love Bloodborne, but it's the least good one. Let's be honest.
Cancel Travis is coming back this week strong.
Cancel me all you want.
This is fantastic. This is your best hire, Ains.
Oh my god!
Take all the pressure off of Dan. Like I can say whatever stupid stuff I want, and all I know is I got Travis back there backing me up with some worst take. So this is fantastic. I don't even play the game, and I know it's better. That's how crazy it is.
That is the most. I love takes that come from a position of pure ignorance.
No idea.
I have 100% at all of the Souls games, and I'm telling you that it is the least good one. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, where's Bad Bit?
The least good one. That's what Joe or Mo and Papa just said.
Signal.
Yeah.
All right. See, why can't we? You guys are like full left and right. You're coming with it's the worst. Elu's coming with it's the best. It's neither of those things.
Lots of people think it's the best one, and I think that's just completely wrong.
I would agree with you. That's completely wrong. Yeah. Oh, that was
Dark
good.
Souls 1 is better. We can admit. I think.
Yeah, I think that
better than Souls. Bloodborne. Come on.
I think it more influential. Kind of a better design in some aspects, right? You said the RPG elements, but I think if you take it as a game to game. I don't know. I got to put Bloodborne again above Souls 1.
It has the world building and the whole that like the art style and stuff like that. I will give it that, but
enemy designs.
Even Sekiro is better. Sekiro's better as a well balanced game. That also takes.
I didn't care for
elements.
Sekiro that much, but that's a whole different conversation.
Oh, see, I actually put Sekiro above. I do put Sekiro above Bloodborne.
See, OneBadMutha gets it. He gets it.
Oof.
Not Dark Souls 2 though. Dark Souls 2 is still the black sheep. I feel like it just doesn't feel as good.
I would not begrudge anybody who said Bloodborne is better than Dark Souls 2. It's just for me personally, it has enough RPG elements. Like Bloodborne isn't even an RPG. It's basically a hack and slash. It's a glorified hack and slash that's disguised as a Soulsborne game.
You're not entirely wrong. That's a strong take, a strong way to put it, but you're not entirely wrong.
Sorry.
All right. Where are we? Miyazaki? Back to Miyazaki. We can at least agree Miyazaki makes brilliant games one way or another.
Yeah.
Yes. So, as I said, Bloodborne is a great game.
Yes. So again, if he is secure, because Elden Ring is going to be mind blowing. I'm just ridiculously hyped for that. But if he is secured to make an IP for PlayStation, that would be huge. Don't forget they've got, is it 1 year or 2 year exclusivity on Final Fantasy 16?
At least 2, I think.
It was either 1 or 2. I know it was long. Yeah. And we didn't see Final Fantasy 16 at Square's event at E3. Probably held off for the PlayStation showcase because Final Fantasy is just one of those gigantic IPs, right? We probably going to see more Forspoken, the other one that they previewed earlier this year. So I think there's a lot here, and if they have a surprise or two up their sleeve, which they almost always do. This is going to be a massive show, which is great, right? Because for people like me, I've beaten Returnal, played the majority of Ratchet and Clank. I didn't actually finish it yet. What else? Demon Souls, beat it. The PlayStation 5 games, Sackboy, beat it, loved it. Great games, right? But my PS5 generally is just sitting there because there's just so many options of games to play on my Xbox side. So I'm really excited to see, what becomes of what I can look forward to for my PS5 next year, for sure. And you just got one, Abe. So this is a good time to see, what you'll hopefully be playing into 2022.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh my God, you've kicked off the chat, Travis.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to pump up those engagement numbers. That's what I'm here for.
Wise Old Gamer.
To make the provocative comments.
Yes. See all you guys this morning. Wise Old Gamer says, "What's up, Ains and Panel? I want to offer a complaint. Ever since you told me that they have Transformers Generation 1 reruns on YouTube, my productivity has gone down to 0. I don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you.
I did not know this.
Yeah, they announced it this week. You can watch entire Generation 1 Transformers on YouTube for free.
Fantastic. Well,
yes.
So much for any more gaming. Crap.
We got some we got some super chats to get to, Dan. Let's hit these up. Mo's in the house.
Mo, 499 super chat. Thank you, brother. Good morning, my people. Happy Sunday to the panel and everyone watching. Looking forward to that Thursday showcase. So are we, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
For sure.
Getting there.
All right. Bad Boy Horror with the £5 super chat. Another one. Thank you, man. I question Layden when he pulls the $500 million as a figure out of his ass, I'll say it, for Game Pass. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's going back to the comments that he made about Game Pass being sustainable and how do you create first party. Yeah. I don't know. There's context there that I think wasn't fully appreciated.
He's trying to sell his own business too, so don't forget that.
Of course.
I do think he's very, very knowledgeable, but he's also a very good employee, and I think he's making sure that he positions the company he now works for in the best light. But anyways, that's another tangent for that other show you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. Big tangent. So let me ask this: now that we've covered that, Travis has set the world ablaze with another comment this week, and knowing what the rumblings, everything we just talked through, right? What people are expecting, we think this could be a big show. If you could have a dream scenario game, right? PlayStation comes out and says, "Here's what we're making for PS5." Your perfect game that PlayStation, whether it's an IP they own or not, to write something returning. What would you want to see?
I always say the same thing. It's always
Parasite Eve.
Yeah. Give me a full on Parasite Eve new game or a really, really good remake. Put them both together, 1 and 2, then we're good.
What if they gave Parasite Eve the Blue Point?
Then I would probably jump up for joy. I mean, that would be amazing. But I mean, it's such a long shot to see that.
I know.
I mean, that's my dream scenario. for sure. Or again, maybe new BioShock. Either one.
Well, we already know that's coming.
I know, but maybe they show it. That would be it.
Well, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you guys think? Abe, you got one?
Were you leaving this open to third-party stuff too?
Yeah, whatever, man. Call it out.
Oh, well, that makes it a lot easier because I was just going to go with the easy, Bloodborne, some shape, some way. That's the reason. That's the number one reason. That in God of War are probably the two things that I made sure I got the PlayStation 4. But if I were to now open it up to third party, I mean, it's obviously we've been wanting Splinter Cell forever. I mean, I've been wanting to see that, come back.
Can you imagine for a second that Splinter Cell gets announced on Sony's freaking showcase? I mean, I can't even imagine that. And then
as long as I get to choose the controller, I get to play it with later. As long as it's multi-plat. I just want it announced. Just somebody spit it out. Tell me it exists. That's it. I'm actually. It's funny. That's one of the other things I had in my rotation that I put on hold for Psychonauts. But I started the entire Splinter Cell series.
Okay. Mo in the chat's been doing the same thing.
Yeah, starting with the OG. It's 4K now. It still holds up okay. It's still fun. So. Yes, that absolutely needs to come back. Now that we got Alan Wake, we know Alan Wake's coming back. We need to get Splinter Cell in there to kind of complete this, classic franchises that just can't stay dormant any longer.
Fair enough. Travis, what do you got?
I mean, I'd like to see some of their first party stuff. We just don't know enough about what they're working on in some of these studios.
This is dream scenario. Your choice.
I guess my dream scenario is that they come up with some new IPs, but I mean that's like
Boyfriend Dungeon 2. The Dungeon.
No, I would love for them to come up with some new IPs that I'm not expecting. Like that's always my dream when I'm not sure what people are working on.
Like a huge surprise that kind of hits all the points for you.
Yeah, that's just like something I wasn't expecting at all. That's like, oh my god, I've always wanted that game. I just didn't know it. That sort of stuff. Which they're occasionally really good at doing, and sometimes they refresh old franchises too and make them feel very new, like God of War. I was never a fan of the old God of War games. I just thought the story was so bad. It was almost like, here
we go. Here we could get that shovel out,
dude. This is true. This is true. To me, it always felt like they had one writer who was writing like the story of the God of War games, and then a separate writer who was just writing Kratos's dialogue and his character. And the writers just very much disagreed. Like they'd write like this really emotional story, the one writer that was writing the story, and then they would have Kratos's writer just be like, I don't care at all about that. Like, but this big reveal on Kratos, like, I don't care. I'm just gonna kill you. I don't. It was like if you've ever played like Dungeons and Dragons, where like the GM's trying to like, the dungeon master's trying to make like this really emotional scenario, and the players are always like, okay, I search the body for loot. Like
just
doesn't care at all.
Just completely flat.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's what it felt like. I was just like, what is up with this writing? But the new God of War like surprised me, right? Like they took like a sort of sophomoric blood and gore type game, and they turned it into a dope awesome story. So I hope to hear about Twisted Metal. Like that's a franchise I feel like needs a God of War like rebirth sort of thing. I would love to see something like that. But man, I don't know what to expect, and I hope it's something I'm not expecting. I also think if we're going to get any third-party announcements, it might be time to hear from Rockstar, because they tend to announce on the PlayStation stage. And it would be interesting to see what they're working on.
Yeah.
At least get a first glimpse.
So Nick said the first writer's name was David, the second writer's name was Jeffy. So you actually took mine, which is Twisted Metal. And funny enough, we were in a party chat last night with a bunch of people, and a few of us agreed that, if anything, to your point, I would love to see that type of full-on reboot, like AAA Twisted Metal return. In the vein, I specifically would want it in the vein of Twisted Metal Black from the PS2, where they kind of had Sweet Tooth as the lead character, and you kind of had some story elements for these different characters and why they were in this death race or whatever you want to call it. But I think if, in today's environment with the way multiplayer is, and I know some people love it, some people hate it, but Battle Royale, which Twisted Metal always kind of was, you just throw everyone in an arena and it was last man standing. Like, make that like a 24 player with like a huge, world arena or a couple arenas. Oh my God, dude, I would be all over that.
I would want them to reboot it. Like, I just think that game needs like a fresh start in terms of like story and
for sure. And have like, I don't know, 16 different characters, whatever, how many different vehicles, 20, whatever, right? And if you win an arena, like you get first place, right? You get the story, the background of that character or something. I don't know. I got all kinds of things rolling around in my head.
Yeah, we also haven't talked about VR. PlayStation does a lot of VR stuff now. I saw in the comments somebody said
PR2, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably going to get announced. You got to, just based on all the rumors we've seen past year.
Didn't they say they weren't going to have it there though? I thought that they already made it clear.
Oh, they did explicitly.
I thought that was the last one, like the state of play. Okay. I thought. Maybe, I could be wrong.
Maybe the world's like everything blends together since the
yes.
So yesterday and tomorrow are like the same these days. But I think Ains, to your point though, I was thinking about Twisted Metal, and then it got me thinking about like Mechasol. There's a lot of games out there that like back in the day were probably just ahead of their time. They need to come out now in a free to play and a battle royale. Like,
man,
bring back Twisted Metal, Mechasol. Like, get those things out there
Mechasol,
now. They were
another one.
Yes, I know it's off topic again.
But that's a great example.
Yeah, I mean these things. There's just opportunity now for some of these IPs, because it is hard to launch new IPs. I think to Travis's point, like it is exciting when you see a new IP, but it's so hard to launch it with the mainstream. At least when you bring something back and you reboot it, if it has a name and a kind of a like a cult attached to it from back when it launched, you have that passionate group. It does help the advertising of those, so they can still be like new IPs, but they have that advantage. So, but yeah, Twisted Metal I think that's a really good call out that I didn't think about. Great time for that.
By the way, you were definitely right, Abe. Mo and Wise Old Gamer both said that there's no PSVR at the show. It's in the official post, so I missed it. So apologies there. Thank you guys in the chat for that. The thing with PSVR 2, and this kind of an obvious statement, right? But you're talking hardware again. And they've got to manufacture that, and who knows what they're facing right now trying to do that. And if that conflicts with trying to get more PS5s in people's hands, why would you launch a PSVR 2 that's only compatible with the PS5 when you can't even get PS5s in people's hands? So.
It makes me wonder what's going to happen with PSVR then, because if they don't announce a PSVR 2 and get it in people's hands quickly, they risk losing a lot of the VR market they've built up, because Oculus and with the Valve Index and the Vive, like these people are releasing new headsets all the time and getting more and more exclusives. Like Oculus has a ton of exclusives now. So when COVID started, like at the beginning of 2020, when COVID started, I was like, now's the time to get into VR. I'm going to be stuck at home forever. So now I'm like really, really into the VR world. And it's fascinating to me to see like PlayStation's astronomical rise in the VR space. And now they're sort of just like steady decline.
Floundering.
Like, I just don't know what is coming to PSVR. Like, does that platform even support it anymore? Because, it's just like, as headsets go, it's a dinosaur. It was already the weakest one. And now it's like not even, on the current cycle of console generation. So it's just a weird situation.
Yeah, that's the trouble they face, right? Because if they can't get the hardware made, by the time they do get it made, it could already be outdated, is one. Two, if you come in late into the generation, people are going to expect it to be more bargain. And from what we read in the specs and the controllers, we expected it to compete on a higher level with some of the better VR headsets, So yeah, we'll see. I'm glad, again, I'm not in charge of that. By the way, Pong in the house saying, is it too early to replace Tie Guy Travis? It's not too early. We're taking polls. We're taking customer feedback. We'll see.
Come at me, bro. That's all I have to say.
He doesn't look scared.
So, all right, guys. So, so I don't know. I'm excited for Thursday. I know like our friends over at Trophy Room, I think, are covering that live, and there'll be a lot of people talking about this, obviously. So, anything else on PlayStation specifically before we on the show specifically before we jump off?
The X button is called the cross. That's all I have to say.
I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point.
It's officially called the cross, but no one calls it that.
I hate that. It's called the cross. That's all I have to say.
It is, but you don't say
Travis,
press
in
cross.
closing, the X button is called cross. Press the cross button.
No, you don't say that.
I do.
No. Oh, okay.
I
So
do.
Pong, the answer to your question is very soon.
Yeah.
I just want to say that if I do take the bait on one of Travis's squirrels that he puts out there, I don't want to get blamed if the show goes 3 hours. So.
You're lucky. This didn't all come up just this week, Abe.
To be clear, Ames, to be clear, when I say I call it the cross button, I do so with full irony with how much I hate that it's called the cross button. I actually hate that they use symbols when everyone else uses like the ABXY situation. So I just get mad every time I remember it's called the cross. So there you go.
Sarkis had taken feedback how long you got. Elu's out there. I call it the X button, but I call the square button the box button. I'm weird. Yes, you are. Moving on.
That is weird. The box button. Interesting.
What is happening?
Oh boy. So what do we want to touch on the whole Horizon debacle this week? Is it even worth it, the whole $10 upgrade? Just to be clear, they came out, they previously said Horizon upgrade would be free from PS4 to PS5. Came out this week, said they announced its special editions, et cetera, and it was an upgrade path that you had to pay for to get PS5 upgrade if you're buying the PS4 version. Everyone outcried, came back. Now it's going to be free for the PS4 version, which doesn't make sense because the PS5 version is still $10 more. So that doesn't make sense either.
So you can buy the PS4 version and then just upgrade to the PS5
for free
on your PS4 or on PS5.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
And they said that they have a clear path going forward. This is from Jim Ryan himself. That'll be $10 upgrade for future franchises that release cross-platform, right? So your God of War, your Gran Turismo 7, etc. You can buy the PS4 version, and then when you get a PS5, you can upgrade for $10. So I don't want to spend much time on this, guys, because I don't really care that much. It's been covered ad nauseum. It's bad communication, bad planning. Yep. We've seen it out of these companies before. I'll remind people about the Xbox Live Gold debacle we had several months ago. Nintendo, we're not even going to touch on. Forget about that because we could spend all show about theirs. I mean, go try to buy Mario All-Stars, and it was a limited Disney release, apparently. So, but anything you want to add to this conversation, anyone?
I bought the digital deluxe edition. Yeah, that's all.
Digital deluxe.
What'd you say?
So I got the digital deluxe edition. That's all that matters. Yeah. I mean, literally, that's all people should care about is like, which one are you going to buy? Like,
you know which one I got.
Yeah, you got the $350 Trevor
Tusk box in my house.
I live in an area where you can have houses. All right, not everyone's in the Bay Area.
This is true. No, I mean,
my friend. Touché.
Dan and I live in the middle of nowhere. You know, there are benefits to
Kansas, man. Yeah, I mean, it just get what you're going to get. That's kind of, they're going to charge you $10 from here on out. They're just doing this for, here's what I don't understand. So like, the digital deluxe edition is PS4, PS5 version. That's the only way you can get, all the free little digital stuff. But that's not cheaper. You know what I mean? Like you can buy the standard game for $50, the 60. PS5 or $60. Yeah. Sorry. And then the PS5 version for $70. Mm-hmm. Still.
They're the exact same thing.
Yeah, even though they're exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. They did that with Spider-Man, I think. But if you want any of the digital deluxe stuff, you're immediately locked into that higher price too.
Yeah, which is $80, I believe, right?
Yeah. Which is fine. I just think that's kind of weird. It's just I wish they were just not as confusing.
It's bad messaging. That's the point. It's bad.
If Xbox's whole system of the cross-generational game thing is called smart delivery, I think PlayStation's is stupid delivery. It's the dumbest way to possibly do this. Everything about their plan for this is really dumb. And I remember when smart delivery got announced, I saw everybody Like, my friend Paul Tassi was like one of the guys writing articles like, why is Xbox advertising smart delivery as a big feature? Like, it just sounds like common sense.
Because
and now
he didn't understand what it meant, and he shouldn't have written an article on it.
Yeah, he. I think he underestimated how stupid you could deliver cross-generational games, and he has since, to his credit, gone back on that. Now he writes articles like, okay, yeah, smart delivery is like literally the best thing ever.
Yeah, people called it marketing, and it's like, well, no, they're marketing it, but it's not just marketing.
It was a nerdy feature for nerds who care about this stuff, and for guys like myself who, we like immediately cared about it. But yeah, I just think I think PlayStation, I'm really glad they reversed it. I think this is why it's okay for gamers to get upset as long as they do so respectfully online, because obviously it has an impact. People spoke up and they changed it, and I'm glad to see that they did it. But yeah, their whole model for delivering cross-generational games needs a much closer examination, because it's stupid delivery.
Oh, and it's too late now. It's part of their GDK. I mean, they can't fix it at this point, is what I'm saying.
No. They can fix it for the PS6.
Oh yes, and I think they will, obviously, because their game development model and their kits, like I was referred to, the layer that they've developed with the PS5 is kind of their layer to move forward, right? But they've got to get to being only PS5, and then we won't have to worry about this anymore.
Yeah.
I think I really honestly think that they weren't planning on having these cross-generational games. I mean, really, in the beginning, it was, we believe in this.
I think COVID messed them up.
I think it did. I think it really did. I think they were, I think God of War might have been a PlayStation 5 game only. I'm assuming these ones that they're going to announce here at this new show might be the same thing. Now they don't have to worry about the backwards compatibility kind of stuff. But that also, pushes them to make sure that they have, again, these units that people can play these games with, because it doesn't really do them any good when nobody has a console. I mean, that's always been the thing. The consoles aren't going to make them the money. It's going to be all these software sales. And if you don't have those consoles in the hands of the people that are going to buy all this software, then you've got an issue.
Well, we know that's not just speculation, because when they announced Gran Turismo 7, they said it's PS5 only. It's literally in the advertisement, and they've since removed it to say it's coming to PS4 and PS5. So I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah, I don't think it was as much Jim Ryan lying. I mean, he does have some issues with messaging, but I do think they
need to stop him messaging, right? Just put him behind the curtain, for God's sake.
He needs a guy. He definitely needs a guy. Everybody needs to forget that Jim Ryan exists, who's a gamer, because I mean, he's not very good at. He does put his foot in his mouth. I think sometimes there is some disconnects there, but I do think it was just a change in strategy too. Like, Dan brings up some good points, and you guys, when they said these games were PS5 only, I think at the time, or at least at one point in time, they meant it. And if you heard like what the investors were saying, or some of the executives maybe said to a magazine, a business magazine somewhere, they wanted to move people as fast as they could from PS4 to PS5. I think they thought they'd have a lot more stock, but this chip shortage, this pandemic changed the strategy, and so now they are stuck in this weird place, because anytime you have messy messaging, especially for console gamers, that's not a good thing. Console gamers, the reason we're console gamers is because we just like things simple. I could spend the money on PC gaming and whatever. I'll probably have a higher end PC again this year, but it's like, usually when you go this route, it's because, you're juggling enough other things in life, and you just want this gaming experience to be as simple as possible. I don't want to have to think about it when I buy something. I want it. I know what I'm getting. It's going to work, whatever. And so I don't think they planned for this. I think, that is probably the right theory on what's happening right now. They're still stuck in that.
They're pushed into a corner. And I completely agree. I think we've said many times, like, if Jim's a great businessman, obviously we don't know, right? There's so much that goes on we don't know. But if he's a great businessman, that's fine. Let him work. Just stop putting him in front of the gamers, because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's impersonable.
Get Herman up there, man.
Herman's much more personable than Jim. Yeah.
100%, man.
Yeah. Or, there's plenty. We've talked about it before, right? Shu's a little out there, but Shu's funny, at least. He's genuine. It's just, you've got to have the right person. It's the same thing we saw with Don Matrick. That he's just he's a business dude. Get him off of the stage. Yeah, just, it's...
He's a cyborg.
I don't even think Don Matrix is a good business person, though.
Yeah,
well, that's
I think
fair
he's
too.
a robot
But,
that Meyerson controlled from behind the scenes. And he just get out there and.
Yeah, there's just there. We've said it before, and we're kind of beating a dead horse here. But there's certain people that are just good at communicating with the fan base of their product or their brand, right? And I think part of why people like Phil Spencer, whether or not you like him or not, I think why he's revered is he's good at that. He's good at speaking as a gamer to his fan base. Whether you like him or not, I don't care. It's a fact. And
plays games.
And he actually plays games. He knows what he's talking about. He was in development. He's a developer. He knows what he's doing. That's why he's so good at what he does. Ryan is just, he's not that. He's a corporate guy. Let him be the corporate guy. Get him out, get him off the stage. Pull the hook. Anyway, well, that's enough of PlayStation. I think we're, like we said, all excited. We'll obviously next week cover what we saw. I'm sure it's going to be a banger. Bad Bit's not here, but I have to say it for him anyway. So, Fawn's in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Guys, do me a favor. I know, real quick, we don't call this out often, but YouTube is a mess lately. Anyone who publishes videos on YouTube, their algorithm, I don't know what they're doing. There's been a lot of outcry from a lot of big channels. Things have gone haywire on YouTube, and things aren't showing up properly. Videos and likes are disappearing. It's a mess. So if you would, please, if you haven't, please hit the like button, and please leave a comment or do something after the show. Just help us out here, because it's we saw I was talking to some others behind the scenes after last week's show, and it was just a disaster. Things you couldn't even on my profile, right? Our last week's show wasn't even showing up as part of, it's a mess. And so it's affecting a lot of channels. So, please, if you any content creators, shows out there you watch, make sure it's a little thing, but make sure you're taking a second to hit that like or leave a comment or something, because it'll help. All right, enough of that. I don't even like talking about that stuff live. So, general topics. Let's cover some of these other things. We got
real quick, Ains. We got a super chat from Mariano.
Oh, sorry.
$5 Pampa. Let's have a
$5
Travis. What grinds his gears and let him just go off. Lol.
So, Travis, I think we've talked about this before, but we had a short spat there where we had a segment literally called Grind Our Gears, and we would just kind of rant a little bit about things that were bothering us. So people are calling for you to have your own hour
stream. Yeah. 72-hour stream to talk about what grinds my gears. That's awesome. I like that idea for a segment. We should come up with more segments.
I'm trying to keep us mostly on topic. I think you're taking us the other direction. But it could be fun. It could be fun. So in addition to PlayStation, obviously doesn't carry the same weight, but they did announce THQ Nordic announced a show coming up in a week and a half with Jeff Keighley hosting it. So again, Jeff Keighley kind of being out in front of these shows and collaborating with these partners. But basically, this is on the 17th. It's a Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, and they're saying a couple things about it: return of legendary franchises and surprise sequels to beloved games. We were talking before the show, THQ Nordic has this kind of wealth of IPs that they've been buying up over the past year or two or plus, such as Time Splitters, Darksiders. What else we got? Red Factions. They own the Metro series, Outcast series. So, who knows what we're going to see here. But 6 new games is what they're saying. So in addition to, I guess, other announcements. So I know one for me, guys, if Time Splitters finally returns, we've been hearing rumblings about it. There's rumors about it. But, man, that would be big for me if it's done well, of course, which is a big question mark. But, are there any IPs, anything we've talked about, anything you guys expect to see out of this? Or is this more just, we'll see what happens type show?
I mean, you kind of have to be that way, right? I mean, they have so much that it's just, you could sit there and just throw a dart at a giant wall full of these IPs, and you could be wrong. That's the thing. Or you could throw 20 darts. You have no idea. Didn't they do? Well, they didn't, but they have Kingdoms of Amalur, I think.
Kingdoms of Amalur. They have SpongeBob.
I would like to see that one come back. That one would be cool to maybe have a sequel of that, because I think that was that was one of my favorite games of all time. It was top 10 game, and it was so much left on the table with that game that I think that would be really nice to see with current technology and maybe a little rework here and there. But I mean, for the most part, as far as an RPG, it was really fun. So
I never finished it, Dan. I've heard the ending basically leaves it open for a sequel, right?
Right. Okay. So I mean, you're good to go. I mean, plus you can go back and I tried out the remake, and it wasn't like a huge leap by any means, but it brought back all those kind of oh man, I remember how good this game was, and nobody played it. It seemed like, but it's like a cult classic. It's one of those games where I feel like more people played it than they actually admit, maybe. But it was a good game, man. So I'd love to see that come back out. But they've got so much; it's hard to just narrow it down. I think,
I find them kind of I find them to be a very interesting company. Like I think I have probably more interest than most in this upcoming thing, just because there's this curiosity. Like we know THQ's under Embracer Group, who's been buying a lot of studios, and there's been questions for a while. Like nobody really has pinpointed what their ultimate end game is. Like, why are you buying all this stuff? Is it just because individually these are all just good investments, or are you going to be doing your own subscription? Like there's all kinds of things out there. I do find that that they're interesting just because that segment of the market that they're kind of like a lot of their studios are in is getting a lot more interesting in general. Because of like the way the tools. I have a buddy who's been doing AAA contract work for like a couple decades. And, he's been talking to me about those tools, like the Unreal Engine 5 and things like that, for a little while. And just like, you're going to see this generation teams that, 10, 20 people are going to make games that are going to look AAA and they're going to feel AAA. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of that. You've got Stalker 2 coming out early next year, which is, it's not a small studio, but it's not a big one, right? It's not a 300-person AAA studio,
right?
And I think that type of studio fits in with what THQ's kind of accumulated a lot of. Those, they're medium-sized teams. Maybe, that double-A-ish double-ish lane, I think is going to give us a lot of what the old AAA used to give us. What when you hear people, I was listening to Jez, on Xbox 2 a couple weeks ago, talk about the AAA, and it's like, how disappointed it is that they're all kind of chasing these same trends and things like that. I think they're going to continue to do that, right? AAA is like that's these 10 billion plus, public corporations. They're going to continue to chase the games as a platform. That's just where the biggest money is at.
Sure.
But I think you can get back a lot of those, those linear 10 to 20 hour games, things like that. I think a lot of those types of things can come back in the space that THQ could serve. I don't know if they will. Like, I would say there's nothing that they own outside of maybe Metro that I really like. So, like Time Splitters, I played that after I played Halo. So unfortunately it was it didn't really click for me. I was like, oh, next to Halo, this doesn't feel good. Yeah. But I think now they could be an exciting company to keep an eye on, I think, going forward. So
I think you make some great points there. Yeah. And funny enough, that ties all the way back to the comment about Layden and the 200 million thing, right? Is this is a space that's growing.
Yes,
in the AA space, and it kind of exactly what you said, and as you were talking about those 10 to 20 hour kind of experiences that feel AAA, but they're not necessarily AAA. Like Plague's Tale jumped in my mind. A lot of people love that game. Fantastic game. 10-hour experience, but it was great. I know not everyone did, and it's a running joke now, but Biomutant I really enjoyed. Really, really good. That was a 20-person team or 17-person team. And yet gave me 80 hours of gameplay, shockingly. So there's definitely those out there that great points there, Abe. By the way, before we get to your comments, Travis, Xbox Air needs to know, how do you tie your knot, man?
I know like probably 15 to 20 different knots by heart.
What are you doing, nautical ties over there?
So there's a ton of different ones, but the thing is, different tie knots, they actually have different looks and also different like assumptions about the person wearing them. Like the Windsor is known to be worn by like people who end up being egomaniacs, like Vladimir Putin, Stalin, and stuff. Like all wear like a certain like tie a knot style and stuff like that. So there's a lot of baggage. So most of the time, I tie the 4-in-hand, which is like the working man's tie. It's like just a very simple knot. So if you want to go into this, I really know way too much about tie knots.
Welcome to the Season Gaming Tie Cast.
Yeah, there you go. The tie cast. I can talk about it, but the answer is I'm currently wearing the 4-in-hand, and I usually tie that knot because it's like the working man's knot. It's very simple.
For the 4-in-hand, I got to be honest, never heard it before.
4-in-hand, yeah. But yeah, there's a bunch of knots out there.
Okay.
Yeah, so my thoughts on THQ, which I'm much more qualified to talk about than ties. I think there's a huge opportunity because those AA games are hitting a double Windsor. I think you mean the full Windsor. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Double Windsor is just the full Windsor, and the what is
what have you done?
The half, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
Travis, I need you to look at Dan's camera real quick. What have you done to the show?
Oh, nice! Look at him. That is definitely a clip on. I can tell because the
100%
knot is terrible.
Can you tie a bow tie? It's fantastic. This is a salmon.
Tie.
Wow.
I can tie a bow tie a few different ways, actually.
Right, this is super uncomfortable. Total clip on. Oh, man, that's too much. All right.
Sorry. Well, for the 4th time now, try to get to your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll try to.
It was sitting right there next to me for some reason. I was like, I better grab that real fast. So,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, that was great. So for THQ, I think there's a great opportunity because those AA games, they can take risks that a AAA might not be willing to take because it's a AAA game and that sort of thing. But with THQ in particular, I wonder if they have the talent to do it. And I don't mean that as like a huge bag, but just like a lot of the games I've seen come out of that, I just not a lot of them hit with me. I like a lot of their franchises, but I wonder if they're just acquiring a lot of well-known IPs, if they actually have the talent to make the games behind those.
Fair point.
That's my kind of concern with what I'm seeing so far. So I'm interested in the IPs. I think they own a lot of great stuff. I'm just a little curious about who's making these games and if they're going to turn out good. That's my main concern. But I'm very excited by the AA game space. Like you meant I was going to mention A Plague Tale Aints because that was like one of my favorite games the year it came out, and I totally didn't see it coming at all. And little experiences like that. I like indie games because I can play so many of them in a year, and it's not like Destiny where I have to just fall on the sword of that game for months to feel like I'm included. And I feel like those smaller single A or AA games have the similar opportunities.
Well, I mean, look at the games we've talked about this year, right? A lot. Hades. I'd say that's not AAA, right? I mean,
but that development
borderline maybe, but
that development team is extremely talented.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Or Death's Door.
THQ is like,
that's what I mean, right? Death's Door was another one, smaller team. Even Psychonauts 2, which me and many people are raving about. I mean, they're not a AAA big budget team. Double Fine's just very talented.
Yeah.
It started as a crowdfunding thing.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect example, actually, because that can show you the difference. And they talked about being acquired by Microsoft and getting some of that backing, like what it helped them do in terms of bringing up the production values and things. So that's kind of what I'm curious about. And I think it's a great point, Travis, because obviously without the talent, it doesn't matter. You can have great tools, you can just have pretty games that just are boring to play and boring stories and things like that. But I do think when you have that amount of numbers, you got to assume that somewhere in the midst of all those studios that there's just people that there's got to be talent out there that maybe just hasn't had a chance to shine yet. And it could be new IPs, it could be I venture to believe, we even see it like with with talent that makes mods, right, that does stuff in Forge and Halo, or does things with mods on the PC, and there's talented people out there that just really kind of never got a chance to call their shot, and I think that because AAA is getting so restrictive, that now they haven't really had that chance over the last few years. And yeah, THQ has done some AA stuff, but even that, I would even argue that what they've done previously was, even though it was AA, it was still kind of safe AA in some ways. So hopefully, I guess that this is where you just hope that they allow the developers to, the creatives to have enough autonomy maybe to kind of express themselves and take some chances there. But I guess we're going to find out. Like I said, it's more curiosity. It's more curiosity than a prediction. But it does feel like there's just that opportunity that we can finally see some of these things. Like if you think back to like 20 years ago, like on the OG Xbox, PS2, GameCube, like you saw that stuff that people trying weird things, like genres were being invented, and they were doing it with the level of production value that the mainstream could look at it and go, oh, okay, I want to try that, right? Like, and that's what we've been missing for a lot of last generation, I would argue. Really, we mentioned everybody goes to Plague Tale, Hellblade, then it's like, okay, well, what else? Yeah, but there wasn't a lot of that. But I think there's the environment now is such that it allows for that to come back, because it goes back to that Layden comment. It does reduce the cost, reduce the risk. So, what's the point in being a lesser than version of a AAA game, or doing everything that the AAA studios are doing? Maybe we can take some chances and do something different, or bring back a niche type of franchise that only needs to sell 500,000 copies, something like that.
Yeah. And just to further accentuate that point is the fact that kind of the access to game publishing is even more accessible now, substantially than it was even several years ago, right? Both from an independent publisher's perspective to avenues like ID at Xbox, you got Game Pass, you've got the PS Plus deals that happen. I mean, there's a lot of openness to getting your games on platforms, and doesn't even have to be Xbox and PlayStation, of course, right? I mean, you've got the other platforms out there looking to acquire content, because content's king, as we always talk about. So, but yeah, good conversation, good points, guys. I didn't expect us to kind of go down that path with the THQ show, but that was good, because it's all true. So I guess we'll see what we see. I hope they surprise us, of course. Yeah, it's good. Neo 2 is my favorite indie game.
It is an indie game.
That's very true. That's very true. Good to see you. Elu, I'm very excited about Salt and Sacrifice. Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved the original game.
Made by a husband and wife. True fact. True fact. Just
as opposed
fact.
To false
yes.
fact.
Yeah, it's just fact. Sorry.
You know how it is these days.
Yes, I know. Yeah. No alternative facts here.
Right.
So Alan Wake, guys.
My God.
Wake. It's happening. It's actually happening. Many of us have been clamoring for this for years now.
That means 2 is confirmed, right? Like it has to be. What other reason to do this?
Maybe we'll see it Thursday.
Yeah. Well, so I know Daniel, the analyst who analyze, he's very popular. Z-Huge on Twitter. He said that the formal announcement for this was planned for next week, so it could be the PlayStation show that Alan Wake Remaster was supposed to come, because Alan Wake was never on at PlayStation previously, right? So, but regardless, this leaked. A lot of people have already confirmed it that are trustworthy, of course. So October 5th is the tentative date for this, which just I'll get to all the games coming out in the next several weeks soon, but it just adds another game, that I really want to check out in October. But man, I don't know about you guys, but I was thinking back about Remedy, right? And you look at Quantum Break, which I think is underappreciated. You look at Control, which is very popular. Obviously, Max Payne, the original 2 anyway, 1 and 2 classics. But I think for me personally, Alan Wake is my favorite game they've made. I adore that game.
Great.
And the worst part about it is the gameplay and the graphics have aged so poorly, it's almost unplayable now. Like, I actually tried to play that game a couple months ago, and I got like maybe through 3 or 4 chapters, and I was just like, wow, this has not aged well. Because the gameplay wasn't good even when it came out. It was like the worst part of it, right? It was like aiming the flashlight and then shooting things. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It wasn't great, but yeah.
It's
but
not great. That's
it's
not
the
reason to play
narrative
it,
and the
right. It's the narrative and that sort of stuff. And I'm interested to see what it does. But yeah, my prediction is we get this announcement at the PlayStation event, and we get like a just teaser trailer or a logo for Alan Wake 2, which is multi-platform and on PlayStation. I think that's what we get.
All right, now you're speaking my language.
2022, Alan Wake 2. Right?
I just changed my dream prediction. That's what, that actually would be pretty awesome, and it fits there too, right? So
yeah, I mean, it could be for sure.
Why would they do this? I can't think of any other reason. Why remaster Alan Wake at this time? It's got to be a sequel, right?
Well, and Remedy, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Remedy announce earlier this year? Remember Sam Lake did that interview and he was talking about kind of what's next for them, and I could have sworn he said they have like 3 games in development.
Yeah, I think they have a lot, and they've been talking and alluding in all of their games to Alan Wake 2. Like there's
the expansion in Control.
Break. There's an Easter egg in Control. There's so much stuff.
Yeah.
Easter egg, man. There's a whole freaking.
There's a whole
DLC.
expansion. There's like an expansion with Alan Wake. Yeah,
it's coming.
100%. Control, it's just straight up like basically said, and they also all share the same universe.
Yeah,
that's the coolest thing about these games from Remedy. I love just that they're all kind of interwoven and stuff, and they're all good games. I relate. Alan Wake, to be fair, I played half of, and I couldn't go any farther because, again, giant wuss. So it's just I'm gonna buy this one.
Really,
I'm gonna force
that game
myself
isn't even
through.
Scary.
Yeah, right. So yeah. That's all subjective, Travis. So
it's not though. It's like
I can't deal with the flashlight thing. Like
the
third person is slightly easier than
how
first
much
person.
Alan Wake talks over in the voiceover.
I can't deal with it.
It's nonstop.
It's the suspense.
There's games far less scary than Alan Wake, even that Dan hasn't played.
No.
Wow.
100%. Yeah, but I got like halfway through Evil Within 2, so I don't understand. It's just certain games, man.
Neo is going to create a Patreon for you, Dan, to get you to play some games at this point. He is on the ball.
It's going to be basically scary games and boyfriend simulators and
Neo. We'll virtually hold your hand through the experience.
Neo, I have a name for the stream or the YouTube channel or whatever this ends up coming. It's called Old Dog New Tricks. Right? We make him play games that were made not for his generation. That's the
all right. Don't lump me in this. All right, it doesn't have to.
I didn't say your name. You lumped you in with this. You lumped you in. I said for his generation. You have a young soul, Dan.
Okay. Do I have to wear like flannel and like one of those stocking caps that looks like I have?
You know what? Just dress what feels natural to you, and we'll do the rest. Really,
that's the worst thing you can say.
Come off as old in this situation, Dan.
No, I was going to try to come off as slightly hip.
Forgive the metaphor, but you'll just let your hair down, as it were.
I can do that. That should be no problem.
It's already down.
Yeah.
I know. Neo's not lying. It's been it's been a ride today.
I just had a thought though about Alan Wake, and you mentioned how they cross all their franchises. Obviously, they don't own Quantum Break; that's still owned by Microsoft. But maybe since everything's intermingled, we can still get that with the Alan Wake 2. We can figure out what happened to Beth. We can go save her. They still got to do that, right? That's a must somehow.
Yeah.
They gotta, so that's the dream.
We're never getting Alan Wake 2. Gotta say.
Well, you do Alan Wake 2, and you go and you pull Beth in there. That's the only character you really need to save from Quantum Break, anyways. I think.
I like the idea of Quantum Break. I didn't think it was amazing, right? But I like the concept. I thought they tried something different, and I enjoyed it. I actually didn't finish it. We're not
going to get a sequel because
I'm with you.
Well.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, Faz in the house. Good morning, Faz. Good to see you. Beast Mode as well. Welcome.
Not even Littlefinger could save Quantum Break.
Oh man, yeah, that's a shame. But Alan Wake, guys, I'm definitely pumped for this.
That's a top 10 game for me. Like story wise. It's so damn good. So if they can find a way to modernize it, I think they have to do something with the combat mechanics. I don't think you can survive just with a facelift. They have to give it some sort of overhaul at a gameplay level. But
remake, not remaster, right?
Yeah, it'll probably just be a remaster, but they've got to do something to the gameplay. I don't know what, but they have to do something. So.
Yeah, tune it up a bit, no doubt. Well, we'll see soon, and if October 5th is the real date, as was leaked on the Rocket thing, that's literally as we're speaking, that's 1 month from now.
Yeah,
which is crazy to think about. Yeah.
Time to show
it. Right. Really kind of shocked, given the nature of the industry right now, as we all know, that it's been kept a secret, that no one knew about this.
Well, I mean, it did leak. That's how we found out.
Well, yeah, that's true. The store, right? The old store leak got it, but you know what I mean, right? So it was Rocket in Taiwan.
Announcement on Thursday.
Wasn't Walmart Canada?
No,
they're slacking.
Did you see their Twitter account? Someone joked about a leak this week, and Walmart Canada responded. It was like, "We know how you feel," something like that. Like they commented about it. But we also got an early look this week, guys, at Dead Space. So Dead Space, the guys over at Motive, the creative director, and I want to say one of the producers, did a live stream and basically very early build, but showing basically the graphical enhancements, and they also did some look at the dismemberment. So I don't know if you guys checked this out, but it was impressive, especially for a very early build of a game. And from the conversation they had, you could tell there's a lot of passion there. There's a love for Dead Space as an IP. And I left that. Some of those early looks aren't done very well sometimes. They kind of make you nervous, like, oh, God, they're going to screw this up, right? I left that one feeling they know what they're doing. This is going to be damn good. It was really
Too scary for you, Dan?
I played through Dead Space.
What?
Really?
I would have never guessed that.
How did you play
probably
Dead
told me that
Space
before.
and
But.
not
That was a
Alan
long
Wake?
time ago. There was a moment somewhere, and I don't know, and I wish I could tell you, but like Parasite Eve again, it's kind of survival.
Yeah, but they look like blocks back then.
I think yeah. When it started getting more realistic, I'm not. It's really the suspense. It's
More
really the jump scares. I'm more worried that it's a health issue. Like I'd rather enjoy my time. If I have like a heart attack because
I'm with Neo. I do not understand you.
Neo, I've known Dan now for 3 years. Listen. We live close together. We've had lunch. We hang out. I still don't understand them. So you're not alone.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's not that I still don't understand you. It's the more that I learn, the less I understand you. It's like
that's right, man. I'm that enigma. That's what I'm going for.
So after your vasectomy, you couldn't play scary games anymore. And you're
gosh, you know what? You might be almost right on.
How do we take this turn?
I think because he said it was after a certain point, and it's like
how did you come up with that idea?
Maybe a testosterone thing is my thinking. I don't know enough about stars to quote.
Just to throw it out there, mine didn't take, and I had twins afterwards. So that may not have been it. So I don't know where it was. I think it was a game. It was a game, and I can't remember what it was.
You got Travis with that one. He didn't expect that. He did not expect that.
It's 100% true.
Him to get so far into the soul searching with where it all went wrong. That's really what got me.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a comment we moved on from quickly, and we have not done that. I'm going to take us there. Carl in the house. Good to see Carl. Dead Space best horror IP. This is true.
Yeah.
Neo's still very confused by you, which again, yes, I get it. Yeah, Alan Wake is nothing compared to Dead Space in terms of actual really kind of scares.
Yeah, you literally fight shadows in Alan Wake, and like Dead Space has you dismembering people and getting like destroyed and pierced
not the blood and gore, right? It's just the I think it's the mood, that the game sets.
I don't think you're going to be able to play this remake.
Control is rough for me but I got through that whole thing. But just because, like, it's certain parts, most of it was all right. There were just certain parts that I'm just like, come on, man. My heart can't handle this stuff. I mean, I go play Alan Wake, and it's like, hey, Dan, you were supposed to do a review on it. Yeah, he's dead because he had a heart attack because something jumped out of the shadow, or that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
we don't need this.
Mr. Bad Bit in the house or Trophy Room PlayStation show. PlayStation prediction: PlayStation is dead. #dead. This is true, Joe. We already covered this, Joe. They're dead. By the way, Joe, and Mo is informing you here that I just want to put out there, Joe, and brace yourself, okay? Travis said that Bloodborne is the worst. Not worse than Dark Souls 3. Worst.
No, he did not say that.
My exact wording was that it's the least great Souls game.
That's true.
The worst Soulsborne game.
And I stand by it because it's correct. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. We're all right. Where are we?
What are we talking about? So what's coming out in October?
Dead Space. Yeah. So anyway, do you guys feel the same as me on Dead Space? That did you watch the stream? Did you kind of leave it feeling confident in the direction Motive is taking it?
Yeah.
Sure.
I was confident as soon as I saw anything from that remake. I mean, it just looks. Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. The dismemberment especially was amazing because they're enhancing it, right? So it's not like the original where it's like shoot him in the leg comes off, right? There's it's actual functional. There's like layers of skin and muscle and bone that you have to cut through like in various ways. It looks crazy. And by the way, Joe, we're fully on this board. Look for our Patreon this week. We're accepting donations. GoFundMe's are going to be put up. I'm playing for Extra Life for Cancel Travis.
Mm-hmm.
We're going full force on it.
Your booze just make me stronger.
Oh man. I was going to say about Dead Space because there was a few years I took off from gaming. It was like right when games like that were coming out, and I've actually done a lot of backwards compatibility, taken advantage of backwards compatibility since Xbox brought it back because of that. Trying to catch up on some of those classics. And Dead Space was one of those. I actually gave it a start, and the reason I stopped wasn't because it was too scary, but it was because that game is based off of obviously it's trying to build a certain atmosphere, and I'm not even a graphics person, but there is some games or I'm not somebody who ranks graphics really high, I guess, on the list of things that are important. But there is some games where it does make a big difference. And it's kind of interesting. Like the last two we just talked about, Dead Space and Alan Wake, I think those are two games because they rely on atmosphere that doing that right with modern visuals really can make a big difference. So I'm looking. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. Hopefully they do the same thing with Alan Wake. But yeah, those types of games could use modern tools because they really you don't get. I feel like when you go back to some of those things that if they really were built on like the world building, the atmosphere, and things like that, and you're looking at visuals that are taking you out of that really kind of. You're not going to understand what that experience was. I feel like so I stopped, and I'm actually very much looking forward to this game.
That's a great point. I completely agree with you, and I think that that's probably why they highlighted that first part of the stream. Right, was showing the environment comparison because just how. That ambient kind of effect that you can have in terms of just the smoke and the lighting and the sound and all the things you can do with modern hardware, which is also why they said it's next gen only, right? And it's a long ways out, so that makes sense to begin with. But it's definitely very exciting. So good point. The only other thing I would say, if you haven't played Dead Space 1, in my opinion, Dead Space 1 is maybe the better survival horror game, but I think overall game Dead Space 2 is my favorite. So I hope, obviously, this is successful as we think it's going to be, and they eventually go to Dead Space 2 as well. 3, they can kind of leave. We're not worried about that, but at least do Dead Space 2 as well. And Neo has a great point, which is kind of funny, right? I do like the transparency EA is allowing their studios. It's strange, but I welcome it, which is strange. If you think about this year, we've had a lot of positive talk about EA, which I don't know. The last time we've had a
bad rap. I don't think they're that bad.
I know we talked about that a little bit before, but it's true, right? And this is just another example of them kind of coming out and showing this, which is great. And as Mo said here, Joseph Ferris for It Takes Two, which is one of the highest rated games of this year, stayed hands off with that too. That's an EA's original, which is cool. Yep. Yeah. So very cool. Very cool.
Learned their lesson with Anthem, apparently.
It's almost like if you let the creative people make the game they want to make, fans respond to it. It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing.
I mean, especially studios that have developed a trilogy that was one of the most highly regarded trilogies and games. All three of them of all time.
Yeah, as crazy. Witnessed by the remake that we just got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. No, especially Emmy too.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. I was going to touch on Halo Infinite, guys, but there's not really a whole lot to touch on. They touched on some of the XP progression. I think I wanted to touch on just because I'm really excited for whenever the next flight's going to come, which is hopefully soon. But, they're obviously continuing to update things and be transparent with the community, which is good. They talked about the XP earning and challenge earning, which sounds really good. The medals. I'm one of those weird guys that loves Halo medals. Like the medals have to look right. Yeah, and they have to look right and feel right. And, they recognize that they didn't. I actually complained about that in the beta or the tech test. Like, these medals don't look very good. They've already fixed those as well and recognized it, which is awesome. So just love the continued transparency and that they're, super pumped, obviously. So
Killionaire.
How good was the video of that voice announcer talking through those, a few weeks ago?
It's on Cameo.
Yeah, so awesome. But guys, let's talk about let's kind of go through the fall, because I wanted to touch on, we talked about Alan Wake now, but I was looking through the releases over the next several weeks, and it's ridiculous, literally ridiculous what's coming. So we're only going to touch on kind of September and October, and obviously these are just the major games, right? Not all the other cool indies that are coming out or anything else, but we've got Deathloop in a week and a half, less than that actually, on the 14th. We've got Kena the week after that on the 21st. 2 days later, we've got Diablo 2 Resurrected. Now, supposedly a week and a half after that, we get Alan Wake, which is crazy. Far Cry 6, October 7th, 2 days later. Metroid Dread, the day after that, on October 8th. Back 4 Blood, 4 days later, on October 12th. Battlefield 2042. And the new horror game, which Dan probably won't play, House of Ashes, on October 22nd.
Never even heard of her.
And then, that's the anthology with Man of Medan and, it's the third one.
Yeah.
And then Riders Republic from Ubisoft, which got surprisingly positive previews out of the beta when I played it as well and really enjoyed it. On October
for the Sam Fisher DLC for that one.
October. They'll probably have a suit you can wear
100%.
to look like. Yeah,
I think I'm joking.
No,
yeah, that's happening.
So just in that list, guys, not even counting through, but that's 10 kind of, almost all of those are major releases. Probably not House of Ashes, but the others are big releases in the first 7 weeks there coming in September. So more than a release a week of kind of AAA big name releases. So one, it's wild, and two, what are you really pumped for here in the next several weeks? Like, what are these games or anything else I didn't mention you really looking forward to this fall?
Far Cry 6. I know that makes me sound dumb, but
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so pumped for any kind of Far Cry game.
It's just, I look at it as dumb fun.
Yes, 100% dumb fun that I expect absolutely nothing out of. I expect it to be, I expect people to get upset about it and avoid Twitter for at least a week. Kena also is been up there on my list. I want to see what it actually is, because it's kind of hard to tell. It's a little third person kind of cute little something. I don't know what it is. It looks fun.
Kena?
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what we were talking about not a while ago, right? This is supposedly a AA, really kind of cool looking game, maybe a 10-hour, 12-hour experience. It's exact $40. Perfect. It's exactly what we're looking for out of that game.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's and then Deathloop, like I think we were talking about earlier before the show started, I'm going to hold off until your review, because I need to make sure that it's not, too undanish. So short of that, probably not much. I mean, it's not basically all the single player games that are on this list. Yay. And stuff that isn't on the Switch, basically.
No Metroid Dread for you?
I'm going to hold off.
That's going to be like the best one.
It might be, I'm not even gonna lie. It might be, but I'm just holding off.
Yeah, I'm iffy on it. It's like, I want it to be excellent, and it's a 2D Metroid, which obviously grew up with those games, love them, but I know who's making it. I mean, it's got all the pieces. Yeah. But what I've seen of it, I just haven't been blown away yet. Like I'm
Right.
looking at it, and I'm like,
Actual
The
execution.
animations for that creature that was hunting is pretty crazy.
we'll see.
what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Nintendo,
Right.
so you know it'll be rated 96, which means it's probably an 86, and then
Oh boy, we're getting some hot takes today.
You can only buy it until the 9th of October. So
Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 is better than Mario Odyssey. I said it.
This is a reminder that
I'll stand by it.
I gave my Zelda review an 8 out of 10 for IGN. Just a reminder for everyone here.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll stand by that all day. If anyone wants to have that debate, I'm open to it. But
Psychonauts 2 is better than Mario Odyssey.
Yes, 100%.
I have not played Psychonauts 2 yet, but Mario Odyssey is masterpiece level.
I wouldn't say that. It's excellent. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm with Neo on this one.
I'm not dragging Nintendo.
This
I'm not dragging Nintendo.
I am
good.
kind
Said a 96 is an 86 in Nintendo speak, which is there some pumping up?
That's
of
not dragging
review?
anything.
Yes.
Anyway, we don't need another tangent.
It's the Nintendo 10-point spread.
Yeah. Good morning, lady. Good to see you. Hey, what are you looking forward to, man? Anything on here like really kind of hitting for you?
Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about the Metroid series because that's one of my favorite IPs of all time. Although when I watched it, I don't know, and it could be wrong. Obviously, it depends on how it plays. It felt a little bit more generic than it felt. I don't know. It didn't look special. Does that make sense? Like it just looked kind of. I don't know. I don't know what I was looking for, but
I'm sorry.
We'll have to wait and see.
Sorry, Abe. What game?
Metroid.
Oh, Metroid. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. It's like it's got all the pieces there to be excellent.
Yeah.
But yeah.
When I was watching it, it just didn't excite me the way I thought it should. Just because somebody's a Metroid fan, and maybe these days I'm just waiting for Metroid Prime to come back too. Deathloop is one. I'm an Arcane fan, but I'm also a fan of not symmetrical sticks, so I might just wait for that to come to the Xbox. And I'm sorry to say that. I mean, it's a game I'm actually very excited to play, but I feel like the first time I play it makes that big of a difference. Like using the Elite controller, and I don't mean to I'd go off another tangent, but when you get used to playing that with shooters, especially using triggers to run and do all that stuff, it makes it really difficult sometimes to play shooters on any other controller for me, including the base one. So I think I'm going to wait a year for that. And the one that really stands out though is Battlefield. That looked great when they showed it at the showcase. I'm not historically been a huge Battlefield guy. I did play last year's a little bit and enjoyed it for some time, but that just looks really dynamic. I do want to get some time in with that before Halo hits. So I'll probably just save my time and money because once Halo hits, everything else gets shut down.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
I'll be like Travis is with his Destiny. Like everything else, I'm going to be the most boring person when it comes to what have you been playing lately for a while once that comes out.
Travis and I are in the same boat. Dan, not so much. But
I'm gonna have a hard time playing Destiny with all the Halo. So.
By the way, Neo's on the right camp here. I really enjoyed Mario Odyssey, but I don't know Psychonauts 2 and what they did. That game just blew me away. Correct.
I need to play it, but
you do. You really do.
I really like Odyssey. So if it manages to top that, I'll be pretty surprised.
I'm telling you. Yeah. By the way, lady, remind us, WarioWare is out this week too.
Oh, so. I love those games. I'm
very
excited to play WarioWare.
There you go.
It's like they all just did a bunch of coke and then they woke up the next morning. And WarioWare emerged.
The secrets in Nintendo games.
Yeah, just woo, and then WarioWare just kind of popped out. I think that's what happens in those games. I love them.
Yeah. So, Abe, I'm in terms of feeling on Battlefield, and if you haven't called us before, and Bomber's in the chat, I know. So Bomber and I played the tech test of Battlefield together. And again, not allowed to speak on it, but no. So I'm hoping that many of us are hoping that game really does kind of live up to what we all know Battlefield can be at its best, right?
Right.
I'm very nervous about it. Very, very nervous. So we are getting a beta again soon. I think he and I everyone else obviously are just really hoping that it's come together and it's a different build or whatever, and it plays well. So, because I would love to. The only other multiplayer game I play as much as Halo, or not well, nothing as much as Halo, but close to Halo would be Battlefield. So
Nice.
I'm pulling for it. Sorry, Travis, what do you got, man?
Yeah,
no
on
one
that
said
list,
Diablo 2 yet. You guys are killing.
Yeah, Diablo
Yeah.
2 definitely does not make the cut for me.
Well, that's
It's an
going to be
old
on there.
game.
Yeah,
It's an old game I've played a lot. Like I don't have time to suffer remasters in this golden age of games coming out every week. Like
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay, that's fair. That's
don't.
fair.
Maybe Alan Wake because it's a top 10 game, but like that's Diablo 2 is a lot to get into for a remaster.
That's true.
So for me, it's Deathloop is that's the one I'm going to be really on. I like Abe. I don't love the PlayStation controller, but I'm not averse enough to it to avoid playing it for a year or 2 years or however long it's going to take to get the Xbox.
Yeah.
So I will definitely be playing Deathloop. I will definitely be playing Metroid Dread. And unlike you guys, I have a lot of faith that game is going to be great. I'm excited to play it. And honestly, I'll probably play pretty much everything on the list that you said, but those are the two I'm most excited for that I think will hold me off until Halo. So
Gotcha.
That's where I'm at.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm on the Deathloop train as well. I do agree with you. I kind of preach about that all the time. Abe, is the thumbsticks just kill me on the dual sense. They just kill me. I've tried. And even that, I've tried 2 different attachments on them to try and make them kind of feel better and grip. Like Dan uses the Control Freaks a lot, and I use those, and it just doesn't work, man. When I was playing Dark Souls 3 recently on my PS5, because it's a PS4 game, I could use my Nacon Pro, which is a far better controller. It's a fantastic controller. But you can't use it for PS5 games, which again drives me bonkers, but that's a whole nother topic.
It's funny that PlayStation's internal leaks have shown that like they've considered moving the stick to have a staggered stick like the other controllers because everybody knows that that's better, and they won't let them do it for branding. Like the branding of the 2 sticks being down there is just like part of that platform's identity. So I don't think it'll ever happen or not anytime in the near future.
Just call it a Pro controller or call it I don't know. You could brand something that doesn't replace the core the core DualSense. The DualSense is better, so I don't want to just keep ragging.
It's way better than the DualShock 4.
Way better. It's way better.
For sure.
When I put it in my hands, it felt like a completely.
Still hate the touchpad, but whatever.
Yeah, and I tried like 3 different adapters on the PS4 Pro, to get my Elite controller to work on there. And then, Sony got really smart and they just started using that middle pad on games. And it's like, oh, well, you can't even get into your menu to switch items if you don't have our controllers. So, they pretty much made that solution or option not work. So just, I guess this is another tangent, another scroll, but one of the most exciting announcements would be them actually coming out with some sort of Pro controller with paddles, with offset thumbsticks
or interchangeable thumbsticks like the Astro, right? Let me use offset if I want.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy a lot more stuff on there because shooter, it makes it very difficult for me to enjoy a shooter right now.
Yeah,
that's just me being honest. So I will wait. It's bad enough for me to wait a whole year on a game that I'm looking forward to. So
yeah,
be on Game Pass though. So
it will be too. That's the other.
Yeah. I'm an Arcane nut. So like you
me
said,
too.
It's like I can't wait. I have to play it.
I mean. Yeah, they're a great developer. They're probably one of the most underrated developers, and hopefully now they'll get
for sure.
Agree.
Yeah, and they try weird stuff that other developers don't.
Also
in their position.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
They're perfect. Like that. They're like that. They're like the poster child for this whole this Game Pass paradigm. Because now everybody can just jump in and try their weird stuff, and it's different when when you're somebody like you're sitting on the outside and you're looking at it and it's like, well, that might look cool, but it's not like I'm not confident enough, right? Because it is so different. So I'm really hoping that is one of the developers that maybe has a breakout generation because of being on Game Pass, really.
Well, and I'm already pumped for Redfall. I know we haven't seen gameplay, but the potential of what they've talked about with that game is huge too. And that's, it's funny. We were talking earlier about the kind of AA development versus AAA and taking risks and stuff. And it feels like Arcane is one of those rare examples where they're basically on that AAA cusp, but they constantly create new IPs with new ideas, which is really cool. I mean, if you look at Dishonored, you look at Prey, you look at Redfall, you look at Deathloop, they're just, it's all new IPs. Yeah. So very cool. Yeah, Riders Republic though, don't sleep on it. If you're into that type of game, obviously.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, I played it for a little bit. I know Bomber was in the chat. He like maxed out on it. He hit the max level in the beta, but a lot of solid previews from people you wouldn't normally think, right? Like people who wouldn't normally be talking about how good this game was. But it looks like if it's one of those perfect games for jumping in a party with your friends and just having fun. You know what I mean? It just looks like that. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Were any of you guys Amped fans like back in the day?
Yo, God, yes. Amp 2 is a goat, man. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm looking. So maybe that is a game to check out again. I'm not even a snowboard guy. I would break if I got him a snowboard. I'd come in like a body cast. So I'd break easy. So I never done that, but it was so much fun. Like you said, Ains, like just getting up there with your buddies and you could just talk, and it was just kind of casual. It's the perfect sort of just relaxed co-op game, right? If you just want to chat with your buddies and stuff. So that might be something worth checking out just to maybe recapture some
exactly right. That's kind of exactly how I'm looking at it. And I mentioned Amp before, and Amp 2 was when you remember the OG Xbox, you could install music on your hard drive and play it in games, which was awesome. So I used to have like my own soundtrack playing, doing some snowboarding. And then don't forget they have that. It's indie, of course, so we don't know how good it's going to be. But in December, Xbox has that Shredders game too, which is a snowboarding dedicated game that was inspired at least by Amped a little bit. They said so. Yeah, so pretty cool. But yeah, I'll be on.
No, that's tricky. SS like tricky.
Yeah, SS tricky. Yeah, I thought you said that's tricky. I didn't know what you meant. SS tricky.
Tricky.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Best.
But yeah, I'm hoping for Battlefield. I'm hoping for Metroid. I'm with you, Travis. I really do think Metroid's going to be excellent. I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably see the reviews and then end up buying it, of course. But most of the games on this list, I'm going to be buying like on day one. Like there's just too much good stuff. So
hopefully we'll review a few as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Yeah, man, it's been a fun show, man. We had some great tangents. Dan, there is a Patreon for him to play both scary games and dating simulators, so look out for that. Travis,
we hit that number, guys. We'll donate it to a reputable charity,
an actual worthy cause. Yeah.
Yes, which I am not that.
Which, by the way, is the Cancel Travis Foundation that is being set up as we speak. So we don't know if Travis will be back next week, but
cancel me. Do it.
Yeah. So we'll put his blood. Don't worry, his Bloodborne take is going to be clipped on Twitter later today. So look for that because that'll be fun.
Let it come. I stand by it, man. I really do. I mean, yeah.
Dude, I'm already excited to download this so I can clip it and put it on YouTube. Good. Like I'm antsy about it. So
I'm paid to have opinions, and I have them. So there you go.
But Abe, man, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today, man. I'm glad we were finally able to do it. Let's not make it the last time. Yeah. So I know we've talked offline about coordinating about some other things too. So looking forward to that as well. But why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun. Sometimes I just wanted to sit back and just let some of the stuff go. Today, you guys had some great takes this morning that I didn't expect when I was looking at the topics for today. I didn't really expect to get into ties, Bloodborne slander, and so a lot of
dating simulators, which is apparently a weekly topic here now.
Yeah, this is a segment now.
So it was a lot of fun, and I would absolutely love to come back on. But you guys, if anybody wants to find me, if you didn't catch it before, I'm a senior editor over at Xbox Era. I do write as slow as George R. Martin, though, so hopefully I get some of these articles done here soon. Travis, I'll have to get some tips on how to write quickly because I really, that's my problem. I'm always feature creeping everything. So they turn into long things. So you can find us over there. We do have forums. It's Xbox centric, but in general, we try to keep all the system warring and all that nonsense out of there. It's really just celebratory about gaming. All the guys who run it have everything. So look for us there. I also do a Halo show bi-weekly called You Had Me at Halo. And I still tend to be on the more optimistic side of, I guess, of a lot of my friends when it comes to where I think this game's going to land. So catch us there, and I'll kind of be able to expound on why. But yeah, thanks again. Appreciate it. A lot of fun today.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on. Travis?
Yeah, you can find my preview of World War Z Aftermath on IGN.com next week. I'm not working on any reviews right now, but I'm sure that will change. You can find me on Thursday evenings on the Last Word podcast, where we talk about Destiny. And you can find me here Sunday mornings, and follow me on Twitter at TyGuyTravis. That's it.
Sounds good. Dan, I'm just moving on from now on.
See you guys.
Yeah.
See you next week.
For in terms of season gaming, you guys know where to find me, of course. Psychonauts 2 and review out there. I did sit down this week with Steven Spawn, head of Able Gamers, again to catch up with him. As a catch up, we spoke a few months ago, but they hit their $1 million goal for donations and charity. So I wanted to touch base with him, and we had a nice little 30-minute chat about that. So look for that this week. I also did get in the Bloodborne statue of Eileen yesterday. Just showed up at my house finally after 3 months of shipping. That's not a joke. So I will be doing the unboxing and review of that compared to the other statues around the room here this week as well. So look for that. So Beast Mode says, Ain should be there for the Halo podcast someday. Thanks for shouting out Beast Mode.
So should I. Let's both get on You Had Me at Halo, because that sounds like right up our alley, Ains.
Yeah. As soon as you said it, Abe, I was about to say back to you. You had me at Halo. I mean, I'm there. So, but we are, in all seriousness, we are going to do, we've already said we're going to do another Halo roundtable. We did one a few months ago before the tech test. And after the next flight, whenever that is, hopefully here in the coming weeks, we're probably going to do another Halo roundtable before the launch of Infinite. So obviously Travis and I will be on that, but I'll have to get you back on for that too. That'd be fun.
Oh, that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. Anytime somebody's got a Halo topic, my buddies in podcasting know, just put up that bat signal, and I'll probably be there. Unless unless it's I got my hands full with kids, I'll probably be there. So
okay, sounds good. Sounds good. But yeah, stay tuned. Thank you, everyone. Chat, you've been great today, guys. Everyone, I can't name everyone, but you know who you are. Thanks everyone for coming out, chatting with us, having some laughs. It's been fun. And as always, we will see you next week. Until then.